So I had a little scare this morning. Like Jojo and Carol were already in the group here. I go to log into Zoom and it said that my reoccurring meeting for chair yoga had expired. And I'm like, wait, what? How do I, huh? So I had to go in my laptop and like extend the reoccurring class. So that's good until like end of June. But I was like, oh my God, how do I get in touch with everybody to let them know, you know, if the number had changed or whatever. So I'm gonna have to go in and check out my other classes to make sure, because a couple of them have already disappeared, dropped off my list. I only had tonight's evening class still on my queue. So I was like, what? Anyway, the fun of technology. So we will come to our chair and in mountain pose. And so, excuse me, if you are at home and you're live right now, if you can grab a block or a book or something. So, excuse me, this block is about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 inches this way. That's all we really want is the height. So don't worry about having this great big huge thing. I guess it could be bigger. It doesn't really matter. We're only going to be using kind of the side of the block. If you are watching this in replay, pause it, go grab something and come back. So we'll be using a block or some books, or you can even use like a rung, the bottom rung on another chair, so you can bring that over. And we will start to center and ground here in our mountain pose. Allowing the eyes to close. That's comfortable. Some people, it's not comfortable to have the eyes closed. So we would take a soft gaze. So this soft gaze is where you're not focusing on anything in particular. So it might be helpful to look at like the floor. Anyway. So we're going to check in and notice the breath. Notice how you feel today. So maybe you notice the breath because that's easier. It's a little bit more obvious than how we actually feel. And the dogs are with me today, so there might be some barking. Not from me, but from the dogs. They get a little excited every time they hear the guineas get going. So when you're noticing how you feel, you might notice how you physically feel, or maybe just how you emotionally feel. That may be a little tricky. Maybe you look for areas of tension. So tension in the chest and the upper chest area is often linked to anxiety, sometimes anger, you know, tension in your abdomen might be fear, you know, so those sayings about, the feeling in the pit of your stomach, there's definitely some crossover between your feelings and physical feelings that you have, like actual feelings in your body. So notice those things, maybe even look for where they're coming from. We'll just take a minute here. Then we'll start to lengthen and deepen the breath. So in the inhale, you're going to expand the belly first. So the belly expands and then the chest will rise. And on the exhale, just allow everything to soften. Inhaling, belly expands, chest rises. Exhaling, softening. Take a couple more breaths like that. So on your next exhale, we're going to dip the chin down towards the chest. We're lengthening the back of the neck. The back of the neck is going to seem longer. And then on the inhale, the chin will come up and then slightly back. Imagine that you're pressing the back of your head behind you. So it also feels like you're lengthening the whole spine this way. So the back of the neck still stays long. And then exhaling again, chin to chest. So we're just going to warm up the cervical spine. It seems like the neck and the hips lately have been the problem children. So these are the kids here that are screaming for attention. Noticing that maybe we're on more devices, looking down at our phones or at our computer screens. Just a few more breaths here. I noticed yesterday I got in a little bit of binge watching here on the couch. And every time I went to get up, my hips were screaming. So we're going to try to deal with those things today. We're going to try to show those areas some love. And then on your next exhale, we're going to round the whole spine. Inhale, come back up through a neutral spine, and then even start to open the chest, bringing the shoulder blades towards each other. The belly comes forward, chin comes up if that's comfortable, and then exhaling and rounding. So my niece starts online schooling, basically. She's been doing homework and stuff, but now she actually has to meet with her teachers. And a lot of schools have already been doing that. So that's why she's not here this morning. She's got her classroom right now online. So she's not at the barn and the dogs aren't at the barn. So we have our guests, our special guests. Right, Hank? And just 2 more breaths here. We'll come back up to our neutral spine. We're going to dip the chin again down towards the chest, and we're going to roll the right ear over towards the right shoulder. You can hold here for a few breaths, or you can exhale, bring the chin to the chest, and then inhale, bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. So I kind of like to hold in one position or move very, very slowly. If you want to add a little traction here, you can place the hand. So my head is tilted to the right. I'm using my right hand. I'm leaving my left shoulder down or relaxed. And I'm not pulling my head to the right. I'm kind of just letting my head, my hands become heavy. And then you can bring the chin down towards the chest and switch sides. Or, like I said, you go back and forth. I have Hank here in my lap. He's supposed to be my husband's dog. My poor husband. He loses all his dogs to me. We don't deserve dogs. They're too good for us. And then come back to neutral. And take some shoulder rolls. So bring the shoulders up towards the ears. And you can just go up and down for a couple breaths here. Up and down. I was saying to my husband last night, I said, oh, he just loves me so much. Talk about Hank. Well, I think my husband loves me a lot too. But And my husband goes, I think he wants to wear you. Bring your shoulders up toward the ears, back and down. So you're going to have this squeezing sensation between the shoulder blades. They come up, back, and down. Just a couple more breaths here. Good. And continuing with our warm up, we will bring one hand out to the side. I have my left hand. I'm starting that way. I tend to start left-handed a little bit. And then we'll inhale, wrist roll the arm up. So you can hold here with the arm directly overhead or as high up. This might be as high as your shoulder will allow you to go. All good. You can even take a side bend here, a little help from Kiki. Or you can bring the arm up and over. So wherever you are is great. Oh, and I didn't wrist roll on the way down. So you can wrist roll. Wrist roll other side. They take turns. Who gets to be in mama's lap? And then wrist roll right on down. And then we'll sweep both arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. So I know the dogs are distracting, but this will be your true test. Is can you focus on me and not the dogs? Wrist roll. Bring it up high as you can. Take a side bend if that feels good for you, and then wrist roll right back down. If you hold your breath at the top of the inhale, that gives an energizing effect. Switching sides. And wrist roll back down. Sweep both arms up. Push the ceiling away and exhale and fold. So you can do a halfway lift here, or taking your hands to the bottoms of the knees, pull your chest forward. Exhale again and fold. Swing both arms out in front and all the way up. Neutral spine. Exhale, hands to the heart. Wrist roll. Bring it down. Switching sides. And then sweep both arms up. Push the ceiling away. Get really tall through the spine, and then exhale and fold. You might notice after doing a couple of these that you get closer and closer to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, so you can reach out in front or pull your top of your shins and pull the chest forward, and then exhale and fold. So when we're pulling the chest forward, it's like we're lengthening the spine. Inhale all the way up. We're going to exhale and twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, wrist roll. Oh, Chloe. You know, I often think, especially, well, dogs and horses, because I spend the most time with them, but the things that they see that we don't see, or the things that they think they see, you know, I don't see anything outside, anything out of the ordinary. Swing both arms up. Push the ceiling away and exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, pulling the chest forward. Exhale and fold. Sweep the arms up, come all the way up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, one knee up. You choose, pick your favorite. And then we'll take some ankle rolls on this side. Keeping the chest lifted, so I'm not getting super round here. Trying not to collapse, staying up. That might mean my knee is farther away. That's cool too. Good. Inhale the arms up, extend the leg that you have that you just worked on, and we'll set it down. Inhale up again, reaching tall through the spine. Exhale the other knee up. Give it a squeeze. Keep the chest lifted. Take some ankle rolls on this side. And then switch direction. Apparently WrestleMania just started in front of me. And then we'll whoops, sweep the arms up, extend that other leg, and then set it down. Inhale again, getting long through the spine, arms lifted. Exhale, hands to the heart. Wrist roll. So anytime your arms are lifted, it creates kind of some energizing. It also increases the heart rate. So that's why we add arms lifted quite as much as we do in the warm-up. And this kind of modified sun salutation is really meant to warm everything up. And it doesn't hit the neck, so that's why we do the neck stuff first. Inhale the arms up, push the ceiling away, exhale and fold. Sweep the arms up, or reach for the shins, your choice. Exhale and fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right knee up. Then give it a squeeze. Chest up, knee up. Extend that right leg. Flex the foot. Lower it down. And then we'll hinge forward. So the more your foot is flexed and the more hinged forward you are, the more intense the stretch is. So you can play around with pointing and flexing. Now you can't see my foot at all because I have Kiki and Chloe wrestling and Hank, you know, checking it out. Boy. I felt the she shed was a little bit chilly this morning, so I was like, well, I'll use the house. How bad can it be? I don't know who it's more distracting for, me or you. Inhale the arms up. We're going to exhale, bring the left knee up. Give it a squeeze. And then inhale, extend the left leg, flex the left foot, and lower it down to the floor. Or your dog's neck, apparently. You can hinge forward here. So the calves are for everybody, I would say, pretty much across the board tight. So having your calves stretched will help actually with balance because it's all connected to your ankles and your feet. And we want to stay as limber as possible in the feet and ankles. Okay, and then we'll come back to center. We'll inhale the arms up and exhale, bring the hands to the heart. So this is where we'll grab our block. Go, go, go. So we're gonna set the block down on the floor in front of us. Go lay down. There's always one instigator. So your foot will come up in front of you here. So the block is on the floor. Imagine my hand is my foot. We're gonna press the toes up against the block like this. So they might not bend very much. They could, or flex here. They might just stay like this, and that's fine. If you can, you're gonna start to kind of hyperextend them a little bit, or flex, bend them back. So then we'll sit up here nice and tall. We'll have a few breaths. If you can, spread your toes out wide. My block is moving a little bit. So if you can set it against something, that'll help. You can add more pressure if you have it setting against something. See if you can spread the toes. And then we can focus on our posture here and using the core muscles to stay upright, because it's very tempting to just kind of hunker down. We want to stay upright. We want to use ourselves properly as much as possible. Okay, just 2 more breaths here on the side. And then we'll remove our foot from the block. Spread the toes wide as you can. And then we'll set that foot down. We're gonna switch sides, okay? Pressing, and if your foot is straight, that's okay. That's totally fine. Especially if you have rods in your toes or anything like that, it might be really difficult, but still see if you can spread the toes wide. Or if this exercise doesn't work for you, use this time to meditate, to breathe, to focus on the breath. Spread the toes wide if you can. Some people's feet are way more flexible than others. If you've been practicing yoga, you might have more flexible toes. Take just a couple more breaths here on the side. And then we'll release our foot from the block. Extend the foot out in front and spread all the toes as wide as you can. That was something I could not do before yoga. And then we'll set it down. Okay, we're gonna come up onto the balls of the feet and we'll drop the heels. We'll do some more calf stretches here when we move behind the chair. Okay, moving for your seat bones to be directly facing down. We're gonna grab the right knee, lift it up slightly, and we're gonna circle. If chair yoga was after we went to the barn, my dogs you wouldn't even know I had dogs. Kicks all their butts. I like to say that farm dogs are good dogs. Tired dogs are good dogs. And then switch directions. Definitely would go crazy having 4 dogs and no place to like get their energy out. Okay, we can bring the ankle up over the knee. So this would be a figure 4 variation, or our modification for pigeon. Now, if this doesn't work, you can also use your block or your books to create halfway point. So you can cross at the ankle, you can rest this this bent leg, the foot, on a block or anything, a little trash can, an ottoman, a low ottoman. We try to have the foot flexed though. So that's going to create some engagement. It's going to also line up your foot and your shin so you're not overly bending the outside of your ankle. So even if you're up here, flex the foot. It kind of keeps things in line a little better. So wherever you are, be accepting of yourself. You can hold here. If you're feeling really open, you're not feeling any compression in your hip, maybe hinging forward will create some compression. Compression is good as long as it isn't having like a shooting pain or numbness. We'll take just a couple more breaths here. We'll then uncross, and we're going to bring that right leg back. So you can turn to face the left and then bring the right leg back. This is going to open up the hip flexors. I know it's hard to see because Kiki's big old body's in the way. So imagine a straight line from my head to my knee, going straight down through my body, as if I was a carousel horse. Keeping the belly engaged, you can draw the belly button in, kind of taking some of the arch out of the low back. Go lay down, go. Dogs, not people. Well, you can go lay down, I guess, if you want to. There's some people I've followed on YouTube and stuff that they have their dogs in the class, and this dog is like, you would swear it was stuffed because it's just laying in the corner. But the key is there's only one dog, so maybe that's it. So we'll bring that right leg back to neutral, back to your mountain pose, and we're going to sit here and we're going to take a breath or two. So notice how you feel. Notice how your hip feels, the right side. I don't know about you guys, but I feel kind of crooked now. I feel like my right side is now higher than my left. Okay, then we'll reach down for the left knee and we'll lift the left leg and we'll circle. I was working with someone over the weekend with her horse and her saddle, and I was, I rode her horse in her saddle, and I'm like, well, either the saddle's crooked or I'm crooked, but my saddles have all like formed to my butt. So I'm gonna go with her saddle's crooked, but it's kind of hard to figure out what's the what came first kind of thing. Switching the direction of your circle. And then sometimes is it the horse's back or is it the saddle? They'll build up muscles on one side and not have them on the other. And then we will bring the ankle over the knee, flexing the foot, or ankle to ankle, or that the left foot to the block. and sit up tall. This might be enough compression, stay here. If you want more compression, you lean forward. So for me, I'm much more open on my left side, and I'm trying to think about, well, I've asked teachers, do I go to my edge on my left side, even though I'm much more open? So my edge is much further away on my left side. Or do I, so I go the same kind of edge on both sides, but it looks totally different. Or do I back off on the left side? And I don't think I've ever gotten a good answer. So I'm thinking for me, maybe not increase the flexibility on my left side. So I'm going to back off a little bit. Take a few breaths here. Okay, we will uncross. We're going to turn to face the right this time and bring the left leg back. And then if you have a block or something there, that's also kind of handy. You can set your knee on it. You feel a little bit more supported. Just kind of happen that way. Again, the chest is lifted, the core is drawn in, the belly button is drawn in, the core is engaged, it's strong. Just a couple more breaths here. And it'll bring that left leg forward. And we'll check in again. Come back to your mountain pose. Notice your feet, notice your knees, your hips, your core. Notice any changes between the left and right side. I definitely don't feel that discrepancy between the sides at this point, as I did when we only did the first side. You can allow your eyes to open if you close them, and we'll rock to stand. So taking a few rocks here. Maybe even hover a little bit. And then come all the way up. March it out. Okay. I don't think we're going to do the whole flow that we do behind the chair. We're going to focus on calf stretching. So we're going to take a step back with the left leg, okay? And let your left heel come down towards the floor. So the left leg is back, the right leg is forward. And it's okay if your left heel does not touch the floor, but we want to kind of move it in that direction. And we're going to hold here for a few breaths. If you want to, you can kind of lean forward on the back of your chair. The further apart your legs are, the more intense the stretch is in the back of that left leg. Taking just a couple more breaths. You could also do this one at a wall, kind of pressing into the wall. I don't have much wall space in here, so that kind of leaves me out. I think one of the kind of funnest things about this class is taking whatever the position is and modifying it to kind of make it suit me, you know, or make it suit, you know, yourself. Okay. From here, you can place one hand on the back of your chair. So I have my left hand on the back of the chair. My right hand is going to come towards the ceiling. So I'm taking a twist here to the right. Maybe it comes behind you. And that's a really intense stretch on that left leg, isn't it? Or at least for me, it is. So I'm looking to the right now. You can play around with picking the right heel, left heel up and down. The biggest stretch will be when your heel is down. Okay, untwist. We're going to step the left foot up and bring the right leg back, right foot back. So my heel, my right heel is now on the floor or coming to the floor. The further apart my legs are, the more intense the stretch is going to be on the right side. My left leg kind of bent. We're going to take several breaths here on this side. Okay, we'll place the right hand on the chair. The left arm can come up towards the ceiling or open up. So that really makes a big stretch in that right side. For me on this side, I guess my calf is pretty tight because this is a hurts so good kind of thing. If having your arm out is uncomfortable, maybe just roll that left shoulder open with your hand on your hip. Untwist. And then we're going to step into our standing mountain pose. Here, we'll just notice how we feel. Check in with the legs. Okay. Both hands on the back of the chair. We're going to step back into our downward facing dog. So when I do that, I kind of, the back end of me here disappears. So I'm going to come up a little ways. And it doesn't have to be, so if you can see me now, my arms are not way out in front. What I am is my spine is long and I have my forearms on the back of the chair. I'm going to take a slight bend to my knees and I'm going to cross at the ankle, my right leg, over the left. Okay. You can start to straighten the legs. And if you want, come lower down with the upper body. So you can be up or you can start to come down. The arms do not have to be straight. You can bend your elbows. Taking a couple breaths here. This is going to create some tension, some stretching in the back of the left leg. If you're super mobile, really pretty flexy, you might not feel as much until you're maybe bent in half almost. I was listening to a podcast of this yoga instructor who said her hamstrings were so loose all the time. Her hamstrings were so loose that she could do a forward fold, have her forehead right on her shins and wouldn't feel anything. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that is not me. Come all the way up. Uncross, cross the left ankle over the right. Take a slight bend to the knees, forward fold here into your downward facing dog pose, your modified dog pose, and then you can start to straighten the legs. So again, having this stretch now in the back of the right leg. Taking just a couple more breaths here. We'll come all the way up, standing behind the chair into your mountain pose. Belly is drawn in, shoulders up, back, and down. And then we will move our, well, actually, you can leave your chair where it is right now. We're going to take our balance pose here, our tree pose. So we're stepping down into the right foot, keeping ourselves tall so we're not hinging over to the side here. And we'll bring the left knee out to the left. This could be your tree pose, very stable tree, okay? You can have the stable roots to your tree and close your eyes, which will add a whole other level of difficulty. Or you can start to bring your foot in closer to the other or up. We're just keeping the left knee pointed to the left knee and foot. You can always try closing your eyes to create some new level to this pose. Otherwise, you would focus your eyes on something ahead of you that isn't moving. So preferably eye level, so you're not looking at the floor. I have a mirror directly in front of me, and so I have to look kind of off to the side. Take another inhale here. Exhale, lower the left foot, march it out. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, so I have to move my chair to make room for my leg. Right knee turns out to the right, pressing down through that left leg, getting tall through the left side. Bring the right knee out to the right. You can be here, close your eyes, create some excitement, bring it in, bring it up, your choice. And it doesn't have to be the same on both sides. You notice your balance might be totally different on the right side versus the left. Close your eyes or find your drishti, your point of focus with your eyes. Pressing down in that left leg helps make you feel more grounded, maybe a little bit more supported, balance a little bit easier. Inhale here. And then exhale, lower the foot. March it out. Okay. Bring the chair behind us now. And we will do our gratitude / squat. So feet can be together, legs zipped up. You can take the feet hip width apart, just 2 fists distance apart, or you can go wider for goddess, your choice. And you can be kind of as high as you want or as low. You can go up and down. If you go up and down, squeeze your glutes on the way up. Kind of get a little bit more out of this. Holding the belly in, getting some core engagement. Now, if you can do all that and think at the same time, you can maybe think of something that you're grateful for. I was reading, I have this calendar, this day planner thing, and it had said, and I'm going to butcher the quote because I'm terrible at remembering quotes. It was something about being kind of really grateful for the thing that getting the thing you didn't want or didn't expect, I guess. And so none of us would probably choose what's going on right now, but see if you can find something in it that you can be grateful for. You know, because I couldn't drive back and forth to Burlington for this class, I can still see Ellen. I can still see Laura. I can still see, you know, all these folks, or like Nancy and Barb, who are not close enough to have class with in person currently. So we're going to come all the way down to the chair and bring the legs together. We'll take a couple of breaths here and check in. Notice how you feel. And then we'll do some tapping. So we're going to tap the karate chop part of the hands. My husband and I were talking the other day and about how 2019 was a crappy year. And I'm like, really? It wasn't that bad. Like, I thought it was good. And then he's like naming off all these tragedies and hard times and sad times and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's true. But it's funny, I just don't think that way. I don't remember that stuff. It's not something I think about, you know. And I'm definitely finding 2020 to be very difficult, but I'm not dwelling on the reasons why it's difficult. You know, I mean, I'll mention things, you know, things that are hard that are going on. Tap the heels of the hands, but I try not to dwell on any of it. It's definitely some hard things. And some painful things. The bottoms of the thumbs. Sometimes I feel like that I'm being selfish by not dwelling on those things, I guess. That by kind of not bringing my attention to them, that I'm somehow not holding true to the memory, or I don't know. It's hard to articulate for me. Okay. Flat palm, take your fist, punch into that palm. Switching sides. Maybe it's my short attention span. Hard for me to dwell on bad things or painful things because I just can't focus on anything for that long. I'm hoping it's my positive attitude and not my lack of attention span. Okay, backs of the hands. Switch. So the other palm is now facing up. I just can't keep lotion on my hands. My knuckles were actually bleeding yesterday. They were so dry. Interlace the fingers. Hold and switch them all by one. You look underneath your hands here. If your hands are really dry, notice the little like snowflakes of skin. How gross. Joke around about like not being able to commit any crimes because I'd be leaving skin cells all over. And then we'll take the webbing between the thumb and the forefinger. That's kind of ouchy today. So I'm going to switch to the other side, or the other hand configuration. And then we're going to take our hands and we're going to place them on a body part or body parts that is challenging to you today or recently. And we're going to send love to those spots. We're going to send our awareness, our energy, our life force, our chi, from the universe, whatever you can kind of resonate with. And you're just going to focus on that spot or spots. We'll take just a few more breaths here. Then we're going to slowly remove the hands. We'll walk our seat bones back into our chair. Maybe rest your hands in your lap. You can have your shoulders against the back, your back against the back of the chair if you have one. Back of the chair, not your back. You don't have one of those. Just get comfortable here and do a brief body scan. We're going to start at the feet. I want you to notice your toes on your right foot, the bottom of your right foot, your right heel and ankle. Notice your toes on your left foot, the bottom of your left foot, your left heel and ankle. Notice your right lower leg, your left lower leg, your right knee, your left knee, your right thigh, your left thigh, your right hip, your left hip, your lower back, your mid back, and your upper back. Notice your low belly, your low ribs, and your chest. Notice your right shoulder and left shoulder. The fingers and thumb on your right hand. your right palm, your right wrist, the fingers and thumb on your left hand, your left palm and left wrist, your right forearm, left forearm, right elbow, left elbow, right upper arm, left upper arm, the front of the neck, the back of the neck, your jaw, your lower lip, the inside of your mouth, your upper lip, your right cheek, your left cheek, your nose, your right eye, your left eye, your forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your right ear and your left ear, your whole head, both arms, both legs, both feet, both hands, your whole torso, the front of your body and the back of your body, your whole body, your whole body. Notice your whole body. And we'll place our hands over our heart. You can have them in prayer hands or placed over your chest, over your heart. You can take a moment to thank yourself for being here and practicing together. Even if you're watching a replay, doing this practice at a later date, later time. May we all feel loved. May we all feel grateful. May we all feel connected. May we all feel positive. And may we have the strength and courage to overcome any obstacles that are inevitably in front of us. From my heart to your heart, peace and namaste. So thank you for joining me. So glad you could be here.